We cannot hear you. Peter, are you there?
I'm here.
Excellent. Welcome. You
Hey
made
guys.
it. Hi. How's life? Yes.
It's stressful but good. How's your life?
Well, exactly the same.
Yeah.
Also stressful, really no time for anything at all.
Yeah. I know the feeling. Cool. Alexander, you muted yourself?
I'm just drinking hot water. Let me just enjoy one more sip of hot water and then I'm ready. Just one moment. Oh, this is really cheap and very tasty when you're tired. You just put it up, you cook some hot water, put it in the cup. Super cheap. Anyways, let's get started.
Have you tried with tea?
Yes, I have, but like in China, in some areas you can just drink hot water. So,
well, okay, I can send you a couple of tea leaves if you need.
Oh, if you haven't tried it, I can definitely recommend it. It's really good. Then water
I prefer to put some sugar into it, a little bit of milk, probably a little bit of choco, and a little bit less of hot water.
Yeah, I see. So yeah, I came straight from workouts, so I'm really glad we put the meeting at 2015. I barely even made it to the apartment. So here are the topics we managed to note down from previously. Should we add anything else before we get started?
Not that I can think of now.
Cool. So let's get started with the top. So the VS Code extension, has there been any changes recently to it, or?
There's been a few like changes locally for me just to fix some syntax things that I haven't pushed, but nothing other than that, I guess.
The only thing I wanted to note down there is like I've had one bug which freezes down the whole VS Code for me, but it's only happened once and I haven't tried reproducing it. So what I just do is kill VS Code.
Okay.
But it's happened
so it's
while
interesting if you.
Sorry.
It's happened
while I'm doing some scripting related stuff, right? Where I have a syntax issue in the file, and then the error messages come up. But I can try reproducing it. That's the only thing I would have complained about the VS Code now, the extension, because it seemed like it just froze everything. Yeah, anyways, I'll look into that and see if I can report back. That's why I was curious if anything had happened.
Quite a few. There's still quite a few syntax highlighting issues and stuff like that, but I just haven't. I take screenshots of them whenever I get over them, but I haven't had any time to look into them yet. So it's just a big pile of screenshots and local bug reports on my desktop.
Yeah, in GitSpeak probably drafts or.
Yeah, exactly.
So has anyone else experienced issues with the VS Code extension? Are you using it? I think it's the best support currently for Imba 2.
I think you, Loris, is not using it. Are you?
Sorry, guys, I just got kicked out.
Okay. Yeah.
Welcome back.
No worries. Take your time. Peter, are you using Sublime, the VS Code extension, or what are you using when you're writing Imba? I'm just curious.
I've been using the VS Code extension, but I'm also looking at using Tinderbox and New Web to do literate programming for Imba.
I see. I'm not familiar with the first project. Like, did you call it Tinderbox?
Tinderbox is a commercial spatial hypertext system developed by Eastgate Systems. Basically, it's a combination of an outliner, a mind mapping system. It has background AIs that can extract entities and locations from notes. Notes themselves can have arbitrary attributes. There's essentially a built-in programming language, and you can shell out to run system-level commands and any external scripts you want.
But please drop the link in the chat, because obviously my search shows me other stuff because of my settings, so I didn't find anything.
I found it now, so I can.
Yeah, please drop it.
Eastgate.com.
Yep.
Yeah.
Eastgate.
Sounds like a cool. I should look into
I
that.
see.
It's an absolutely wonderful system, and you can basically use it as an editor for any kind of structured or semi-structured content.
Interesting. I haven't heard about this before today. This looks very cool.
Yeah, so I've been using that and building a custom editor inside of Tinderbox to produce new web source files. Are you familiar with New Web?
No, the new web is also new to me, but
Okay.
I don't know.
New Web's a system over on SourceForge, and it takes a combination of LaTeX markup interleaved with your program source code. Then it will generate a documentation file that cross-references and links all of the code fragments in your documentation together and produces a beautiful book, and that's called the weaving process. And then there's the tangling process, which takes that one file and creates all of the separate individual source code files that you wanted to build. You create named chunks, and the chunks can be defined in multiple places. And the net result is it's more like you're writing an essay for another programmer to understand how you tackled the problem that you're trying to solve.
Mm.
And you can build up pieces that syntactically have to go in one place at different locations. So say you were working in a language where you had to pre-declare all of your identifiers at the top. You could create a fragment named identifiers, and then you could define that fragment in more than one section of your source web. So you could have a section.
Wait. Did you call it source web or new web? Because I got confused.
No, New Web is the name of the program. And
New web.
Web of the program you're trying to create. So you just want on SourceForge.
Yeah, just drop the link in the chat so we can look it up, because I got confused by the names. So yeah, couldn't find anything. It sounds interesting, definitely.
So I've been using that. And then I've also been looking at trying to use New Web to typeset the Imba documentation. So for that, I'm using the LaTeX listing package, which doesn't know about the Imba language. So I'm building a language definition for Imba inside of the listings package.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely cool. This is cool to see new projects. But like with the typesetting, could you elaborate on what you mean? Like, are you just documenting Imba things in LaTeX, or what are you doing? I didn't understand that part.
Okay, I'm customizing Tinderbox to make it easier to edit Imba source code direct in Tinderbox. And the output of the Tinderbox web for the program is a single New Web input file. Then New Web automatically runs as soon as that file gets updated and turns it into the separate Imba source files that would actually be compiled and run in the Imba world, and simultaneously generates a LaTeX source file that I have TechPad immediately typesetting for me.
Yeah, so I will definitely have to try out these tools. Sounds interesting. I just don't see, I can't visualize it properly.
Yeah, it's going to be good for Imba projects when they start getting bigger. And it should be a good way to document and do like little tutorials for Imba, because the New Web system would be just perfect for writing the essay of how you're going about building up your final program, and then the system will create the final program, but you also get the typeset version. Now, the output of New Web has the fragments of source code, and it also lists where that source code is used. So it'd be, this code is defined in section such and such and such and such, and it's used in section such and such and such and such, and everything's cross-referenced and hyperlinked in the PDF file. So it's just like perfect for documenting a new language or a new system like Imba.
Yeah, it sounds cool. I definitely have to try out these projects just to get a better understanding of it. So,
Then,
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so the hairiest part in trying to teach the listings package about Imba syntax is that it's basically built off of simple regular expression matching. So it doesn't have a sense of context, but you can trick it by using a matching delimiter set and then color coding the delimiters, and then having LaTeX check to see what color the current color is when one of those delimiter patterns matches, so you can figure out whether the keyword is appearing in the primary source code or whether the keyword is appearing inside of a string, and then you can have a macro determine what the color is going to be based on that. So I'm sort of forcing it to be able to recognize the Imba context from the source code so that you don't have, you know, the keyword class get highlighted in a string, I went to class on Monday. So it's a bit hackish, but it looks like it should be good enough for putting all of the style sheet related content in one color, having all of the Imba programmatic code in another color, and having everything related to classes in a distinct color. Or maybe I'll use fonts and just experimenting to see what looks good and makes it easier to pick up. I think trying to distinguish between those three contexts, the CSS context, the JavaScript context, and the markup tag context, probably the best way to highlight it when it's going to be going for printed documentation.
This sounds cool, and we definitely, I would love to see a demo, to be honest, of these tools, and just to see how you're using it, because it's not so easy to visualize this stuff when you're not familiar with the tool chain here.
Yeah, and Tinderbox has a steep learning curve. It's really like one of those few pieces of software where I'm eager and happy to pay the annual subscription fee to get that year's worth of updates. His system is you get all the updates for the course of the year, and code will keep working should you choose not to update it after that. So you aren't in a situation like with Canvas Draw, where at the end of the year, you're going to have a dead program that you can't use anymore unless you keep re-upping every time. And it's a great, vibrant community. Mark Bernstein, the author of it, is part of the ACM hypertext community, and he's been very active in that for years, and he's just incredibly responsive to input from his user base. So we actually have meetups every Saturday at noon, and I think he's going to be starting meetups for people from Asia this week, like 10 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday nights. You can go to the Tinderbox forum and find out when they're going to have their next meeting.
Yeah, it sounds cool. I've installed it now, and I'm going to try it out to get a better understanding of this Tinderbox thing. It looks interesting, definitely.
It's perfect for editing literate programs. People have all kinds of other applications. A lot of people are using it for their doctoral dissertation research. There's a group of lawyers that are using it to keep track of cases that they're dealing, a whole bunch of different communities. But it's so very flexible. But you have to invest time up front in mastering the system because it's a more of an open-ended visual development environment, if anything.
Yeah. It sounds very, very interesting. It looks like a mind mapping tool. Like I'm running it right now here. But anyways, let's get back on track. To stick to the schedule, basically. Otherwise, what happens is that you can drag on a meeting forever. And
so maybe in 2 weeks, I'll have the literate programming of Imba refined to the point where I could do a short demo for you.
That would be really cool. Are you on the Discord server now? I remember you had some issues getting onto the Discord.
It out. I've been like escalated several levels through tech people. I get the most maddening responses from them. They're incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, but Ulores offered to help you, I think. Didn't you guys figure it out?
No, because I'm an attorney in real life, so I can't do anything to end run around the Discord people. So unless they say they're going to let me in with my landline and my prepaid cell number. There's nothing I can do as far as using that.
Is there maybe I'll double check that anyways. There might be, I've seen that you can verify our server. Maybe we activated the what's it called, two-factor authentication part. I don't know if this is something that's required on all Discord servers, but I like turning on two auto-fact requirements whenever it's possible. So maybe I turned it on while I was looking at the settings.
Well, whatever's going on, I've been back and forth to their technical people, and I'm making no headway at all. The most maddening responses from them, like the, yes, we've just talked to our team and determined that we were correct in banning your account, and we will not be letting you in. However, we can't tell you why we're banning the account because of our privacy. Like,
Yeah.
Zero information content there.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll figure it out, and then you can we try to do the reminders of the bi-weekly meeting. But if you can't, try using meetup.com, because then you can. I think the date is going to be 2 weeks from now. Sorry.
Yeah, I signed up for the meetup, so.
Amazing. Then you should get notifications. So if you can do a demo, I think that would be really useful, because some of these tools, for me personally, I've never heard about them. Tinderbox or the new web stuff, that was totally new. I'm going to try it out. Now I have it downloaded. So yeah, the next topic for today is the release schedule. So Sindre, do you have any thoughts? Like, is there anything specific you're thinking about there?
What can I say? Right now, everything is still kind of in flux, because I'm so deep down into Scrimba stuff. Some of it will benefit Imba as well, but since I did think that this sprint would be over 2 weeks ago, I don't think I'm very qualified to guess when I'm going to be done with it. But at least obviously before Christmas, sometime this end of part of the year, in 2020, I think we should be able to release it. We have talked about at Scrimba as well to dedicate a week or two to on documentation and other parts where other people at Scrimba as well chip in and go through the documentation, right? So hopefully that will happen soon. But there are some, like right now, I'm spending a lot of time on the data layer of Scrimba, trying to port over the ideas and concepts from the Gitspeak data layer into Scrimba, and hopefully I do think that the data layer itself will be separate enough that we can actually release it as kind of an officially recommended or at least a good alternative for data, not state management per se, but like actually dealing with data and collections and filtering and sorting and all that sort of stuff in Imba as well. So, but yeah, the release schedule is in flux.
Yeah, so it sounds like a good idea to definitely get more time for documentation. I remember you were working on some SVG editor stuff. Is that something that's made itself back from the Scrimba project into
SVG editor?
Yeah, not SVG editor necessarily, but like
the asset stuff.
Yeah, the asset stuff. Did that make itself back?
I think it is in Imba now, but it's really just a hidden. So I haven't really done anything more with it. I think we should look into that when we start looking more into the bundling, especially with Eulorus and the new bundler there. But right now it's not part of the documentation or part of like any official thing. It's just hidden there. If you want to try it out, then you can try it out. But yeah. So I'm sorry for my energy. It's just I'm extremely overworked and
no worries.
Never-ending spiral of work. So
we're all happy you could make it and set aside the time. So
I'm just looking forward to getting over this big crunch and get back to both documentation and the tooling and everything.
But there's like, I think this is good. Like with the, I was predicting there would be a release for Christmas. That's what I've been going around thinking. Because like when we were talking about it earlier, you were very optimistic, right? You wanted to push and get it out early, fast. And if we do a Christmas special, I think that would be a really amazing time. Yeah, just think about it. Historically speaking, doing a release during Christmas is a great time. Just look at Swift from Apple. That was released during December, right? It's a very good time. People are very happy. Maybe we'll get some traction.
Yeah, I think I definitely think we will get traction. Like I'm not even that concerned about that. I do think if we get to if we write good enough documentation and we get the tooling working well, I know from experience now, I've used it so much myself, even that it is it just has to get some traction. If it doesn't, it's
Just
obviously going to be.
Sorry.
I just posted the new web.
Hmm?
I saw that. Thanks. I'll check it out later.
It's also a literate program of the new web program. So the source is embedded in the document. Really nice.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I actually thought you meant new as in November Echo Whiskey.
Yeah.
Not uniform. Yeah, it looks interesting. I'll definitely go through this. But I think it's realistic to have a Christmas release. Do you think that too, Sindre, or do you think it might go into next year, 2021?
I definitely, I'm aiming for well before Christmas, and then we'll see. There's so many other factors there, so it's hard to know for sure.
It would be very nice to have it before Christmas or just at Christmas, also to take advantage of the holiday period. Most people, they might be able to really focus on Imba in their free time. So holiday period, especially in cold winter, would be ideal for some people.
Yeah,
that's a really good input. Yeah, there are lots of Python developers out there who have vacation around that time. So very good audience to target. But is there like some winter coding events similar to Hacktober that's around that time?
I'm not aware.
Yeah, let me know if anyone who's listening, and if you're on YouTube, please drop a comment and smash the like button. Thanks. I just had to throw that in there. So is there anything else regarding the release schedule?
Not on my end. Not now.
Well, maybe, just somebody to organize a little bit the outstanding issues. I don't know, going through the issue log of GitHub and trying to also to fetch all the open issues that are being posted on Discord as well. Just to have a list and to make some kind of a roadmap, or to make it easier for Sindre and the other coders to see a little bit and to have a better idea of a forecast if we can make it to the release, and which things we shall include and which things shall we just postpone for after the release.
Yeah. So to be honest, I do think now that it is basically, I have tons of things that I could add, but I do think that we could document and polish the concepts that are in there now, and it is working well enough for Scrimba and I guess for other things. So in that sense, it should definitely be possible to get it out by Christmas. The reason I'm hesitating about like getting it out much before that is just because I have so much other obligations. That's essentially the thing. Like if it was only Imba, then I do think we are approaching a feature freeze of sorts for 2.0.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So the next topic is the documentation, and I was hoping actually that there was this one person who was interested in Trafnar. Trafnar, if you're listening, please join the next bi-weekly, or I don't remember what he wrote, but
I think he was at least. I think he's pretty. He came in pretty recently, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was. I'd love to learn more and contribute back to the docs. He writes on Discord.
Yeah. So if we can get him, and I didn't really read everything, but I looked at this. He had already some experience writing docs here, right? So
yeah,
maybe
exactly.
he can
actually written. He posted a link to some documentation that seems pretty nice for an application.
I didn't go into it in detail, but it looked nice from the overview when I was looking at it. Sorry, on my phone, and now again looking at it here.
Yeah,
it looks good at a high level.
Definitely.
So maybe we can maybe try to support him. Like, do you have any thoughts on the documentation, Sindre?
I have hundreds of thoughts, and I think we've been through them before. I don't know, like the biggest way I can support now is essentially just to get back to writing the reference documentation. I think that's the way I can help, and obviously just be more present on Discord as well.
I can work on the typesetting angle.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, definitely cool.
Okay.
So the next topic is the merge challenges, and I finally figured it out. So it turns out if you use the GitHub keyword, like the word GitHub, it triggers some kind of IP something. And I think somewhere in the description or something like that, I put Imba GitHub repository 4K stars, and that just triggered some kind of alarm thing in teesprings.com. So they deleted everything, and they sent me some copyright violation information, very scary messages.
Yeah, Alexander, can you not get in contact with their support team? Because
I did. I actually tried. So I think what we need to do is just create the same campaign, but not use the word GitHub anywhere. So I think then it will pass through. So that's what I'm going to do now. Create a new, it's called, I don't remember. They have a different jargon for it.
Yeah, but they should be explaining if there's a copyright violation or intellectual property violation. They should explain who is complaining about what exactly. A bit surprised about the GitHub.
Yeah, it was just the word GitHub. First, they didn't explain it. First, they just deleted it, and I was stuck in a loop where I tried to. The page had obviously cached some of the like the campaign that was registered. So it looked like I had registered everything, but it got deleted. And then I was stuck in the loop. And then after a few hours, they probably have some automated system which sends out the emails. Then I got it. And then I saw, okay, there was some IP issues. And then I contacted support, and they told me to contact this team. And then that team told me to contact another team, the IP team. And the IP team told me, they replied, hey, sorry, this is an automated system, blah, blah. And it's because you're using the word GitHub. It had a huge summary. It was like a huge text, like you should have seen the email, just a lot of text just to say one thing. I had to go through that. But I think if we create now, just don't mention GitHub, nothing like that, it should work. So if we do that, hopefully we can get them out. And then it would be, maybe we can do some coupon codes. And Frode is coming in. Let's add Frode to the meeting. Hey, Frode, can you hear us?
Yep.
Cool.
Do we have an animal mascot for the language?
Welcome.
Do we have an animal mascot for the language?
Yes.
Yeah, Eric Tirado made that. It's cute.
Yeah, so it's going to be also on the front side of the t-shirt, and then there's some QR code on the back side. So Peter, if you want to get the free t-shirt, now's your chance. We are under 20 contributors, And our promise was to send it out to the first 20. So you still have a chance now if you want to get a free t-shirt. Just send a pull request to the Imba main, Imba/Imba, and then you have guaranteed a t-shirt.
Fantastic.
You can still make it. I'm gonna advertise it very soon. So here is your chance. You can do it. So the next topic was the SSR, and I think this was something Bohuslav was asking about, and I'm not sure exactly what he was thinking, but I think I understand it. Like maybe he wants just a good example for Imba.
Well, I'm also very much interested in seeing such an SSR example. I'm struggling myself just to understand a little bit the theory behind it, but I think it's very valuable if somebody can come up with an SSR example showing at what moment you do server-side rendering, at what moment the client-side takes over, also maybe with a routing example.
You should probably just open source the Scrimba Scrimba client, the front end. Yeah, we need to create an example for that. I do think, as I mentioned before, Alexander, that you could possibly pull out the basic parts of the new Scrimba site to use as a skeleton or a template for an SSR application. But
like this is just my opinion, and we don't need to dwell on it. But like, are you happy with the current implementation in Scrimba? Or do you want to make a simpler one? Because in my opinion, it's kind of complicated. That's just my opinion. I've seen the code and read it, and I think it's confusing.
Yeah, so the point was to use that as a basis, because that at least shows that it can be done, and then simplify it. But the current like state right now is that I don't have time to create a simplified version of it. So it will have to be postponed for at least a few weeks, and then probably more than that.
I think I think in my opinion, I think people would be happy with what's in use in Scrimba right now, but maybe it's better to maybe it's better to actually wait and simplify it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or maybe just some starters. I mean, in Discord, if you can drop a couple of lines, or if somebody who has experience in writing this kind of SSR code would just drop a couple of lines so as to get us started. I have 2 or 3 questions related to that. I mean, SSR in my case would be useful when you want Google to do the site mapping of a site. It's easier to have it all in the classical HTML file set up. And at one moment, you want to take it over by one single script that simulates all these different pages using some routing engine. How to do the switch over from one to the next? That's my question. And also, what's the entry point? If somebody does enter your site, not using index.html, but some different URL, how do you redirect afterwards to index transparently? These kind of questions. I haven't found any answer.
Okay, yeah, that's not too difficult. Like, you do that on the server. So the new Scrimba site is kind of different than the old one. The old one was more the single page application where everything was routed and rendered on the server. But when the client took over, it basically re-rendered the whole site, like just looking at the routes the same way the server did, finding the same components to render and doing everything from scratch. But the current iteration of Scrimba actually does it more like partial SSR, where you actually do the rendering on the server, and then when the client gets back the HTML, then some of the components will be also be loaded on the client and then be automatically awakened. But it is, I agree with Alexander, it is kind of messy now because it has different, it loads in dynamically different client scripts and stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of complicated.
I was going to ask Frode what he thinks, but is there value in just open sourcing a skeleton version of what is in use in Scrimba?
Yeah, that was more as an example. Yeah,
I wouldn't open source it, but I would pick out. It is possible to pick out the server side and client side rendering into an example. I wouldn't use the same logic or the same parts that Scrimba does.
Yeah.
Hi, Trafner. Welcome.
Is Trafner here?
Yes,
I'm here.
he just joined.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
So you're Nathan.
I'm Nathan, yeah.
Awesome. We were actually talking about you earlier.
Hey.
Oh, sorry I'm late.
No worries.
Yeah.
So maybe you can get started on some documentation bits.
Yeah, I would love to. The first barrier is just figuring out the information myself so that I know what to write about.
I think this is probably the first language where the people who are set to document things are learning the language themselves at the same time.
Well, I mean, I just as I was trying to learn it, there's a lot of blank pages, and then I would try and figure it out one way or another, and then think like, I would love to fill in some of those blanks so the next person can benefit from it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, very cool. And
I mean, I hope I can help a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
so you were behind Flinto?
Yeah, that's my company.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Thanks.
I was looking at it now. Looks really cool.
So
yeah,
Flinto?
it's a Mac app. We had a very small company, me and a co-founder and a few other contractors over the years, but it's pretty widely used by designers who want to make high fidelity prototypes. And it's not really programming documentation, but I have a background in web development, so I think I should be able to take a stab at it.
Definitely.
I also have a lot of tutorial videos that I made for Flinto. I made like 100 tutorial videos.
Yeah. It looks really polished, really nice.
That's really cool. We are definitely looking for more content for the YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's something I'd be interested in.
Is this you?
That's me, yeah.
Oh, nice to see your face.
Yeah, and so I saw Imba quite a while, Imba 1, and I was really interested because I was looking for CoffeeScript-like languages because I really like the syntax of CoffeeScript, and I felt like I was the only person who likes it. And I saw Imba, and I thought that was really cool, and I thought, man, it really needs styling built into it. And then I kind of just forgot about it. And then when I came back and saw Imba 2 and it had styling, and I was like, oh, this is incredible. And lately I've been using it to build some prototypes and test projects and just totally loving it. Although whenever I run into issues, I ask in the Discord and I don't get a whole lot of answers back. So in terms of learning it, I'm struggling a bit.
Well, there's just one single person that can answer you, and that is Sindre, and he seems to be very busy.
Yeah, I could imagine.
But I will try to get back into the Discord as well in the next week.
So one thing I wonder is, like, let's say there's a section of the documentation that's blank. Obviously you could write that documentation yourself if you have the time or whatever. You find it much, if I asked you, hey, explain this to me and then I'll write it, is that much easier for you, or is that still, potentially still a lot of work?
I think it would be just a huge time sink if I had to explain it to someone who were not skilled to then themselves document it. But if you're the kind of person who can then actually sit down and write good documentation and good explanations of it, then I guess that's very much good use of my time. So
we could try it we could take one topic, maybe an easy one, and we could try doing that. I could try writing it and see how it goes. Because obviously, if it doesn't come out good, or if I somehow slack off and it's not worth your time, then no hard feelings. So let me know. But we should give it a try without making.
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
That's a great idea.
I did that a few times with I don't remember his nickname now, but Alexander, do you remember? Like we had the Russian guy. I had some scrims with.
Yeah, sorry, his name is something on F. Freddy, something, I don't know.
But but in this case, that actually sounds like a brilliant idea. So,
what I could do actually is maybe there's a topic that I can find in there that I could write without even talking to you, just to see how it goes.
Fedor is his name there.
Yeah, Fedor. Yeah.
I could give that an attempt.
But you can also like write to me, and we can try to get Where do you live?
I'm in California.
Okay, so our times are pretty different, but I guess we can do some chats around this time, essentially, on most days, actually. So if you have some topics or specific things that you're wondering about, then we could do a Zoom call or something where we go through it, and then we can see how that works. That would be really cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very good. Let's hope it works. We're crossing our fingers, Nathan. Hopefully you're going to write some really beautiful, great documentation. That would be amazing. Very sorely missed.
Cool. I'll do my best.
So the last topic is the ES build status. Eloris, do you want to?
Yes, sure. So ES Build is the tool released by Ivan, which is a fantastic tool. It gets better and bigger and faster as every single day. He has still not made the plugin option official, so that is still some custom compiling required. I have found an easy way for you guys to compile it yourself as well. I have published some very succinct instructions on my GitHub page. You will find it there. If you go to the Imba tool, that would be Eulores Imba on GitHub.
There.
It's not there. It's under Eulores. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
This one?
Imba, the fourth one. Yes, that's the one.
Cool. I'll
So
drop the link in the
yeah, if you look at the internal notes there, you just see some basic instructions. Just scroll down. There you just see some basic instructions. The first part is how to compile the plugins business. So it's straightforward. It's just 7 lines that you have to enter, nothing else.
This is easy. This is super easy. I thought we had to compile Go and install Go
you
and all of the weird stuff.
You will have to install Go, but that is really just a matter of dropping a package and that's it. It's really, there's no environment customization to be done or anything else. You just drop the package and you're good to go. Nice. I tried that on Windows. I tried that on Linux. In both platforms, it was easy as cake. So, and then to actually compile the plugin code, you have to do a couple of tricks. I found the easiest way of doing that. That works for me, maybe for you too. And then the second part is just creating a very short Imba source code and trying to compile that with the plugin option.
It looks very straightforward.
I hope so. It's not really that much battle tested. It should work. If not, you drop me a line and I'll walk you through, or I fix whatever needs to be fixed. For the actual tool, well, it's progressing. I seem to still have a bug somewhere. I just spent 5 minutes before the meeting today to revive it a little bit because I was really out of time. But it has all the biggest components. They're working pretty well. Very happy about it. It has a watching element as well that watches all the different source codes. As soon as it detects a modification, it recompiles. And if the modification is only in the style code, then it will not recompile. It will just reload the modified CSS. So even the page in the browser does not reload, it just changes the CSS, and that is working very nice. Now I'm busy in writing some code to parse HTML files to find the scripts where the source points to Imba files and using that as an input to the ESBuild bundler. And that is working offline. I have not yet updated that in GitHub, but that's the next feature to come. You can look at this is actually this is part of my compile process. When I run the compile, when I try to publish something on NPM, it runs through this script as well.
Cool.
Well, not that cool. It just shows my complete lack of knowledge of the whole NPM process. So I'm just earning my feathers here. It's really don't look too deep into it.
Sorry. I won't. I will close the tab. Sorry.
Thanks. Makes me feel a little bit easier. But what you can do is look at the to-do list. I have quite a nice set of things that I'm still planning to do. So ideally, as soon as I have again a little bit of time, the Imba tool will actually just do what is expected out of it. You don't even have to specify any source file at all. It will just check the source subdirectory and take anything that looks like it requires some compiling and does it for you.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's in my head, at least it's working perfectly. Looking forward to actually deploy it. And I'm really looking forward for the ES build to become official with the plugin support.
This sounds good. I'm going to try it out very soon.
Yes, please do. And if you have any problem, you just, you drop me a line and I'll help you with it. Would be looking forward. And well, related to that, I also would like to coordinate with Sindre. I have some ideas of changing the interface to the compiler, to the real core Imba compiler.
Yeah,
but that will be done later on.
Cool.
I'm talking and answering and have muted myself 5 minutes ago. So, but yeah, I agree. Just ping me on Discord.
Okay, will do.
It's very cool.
So is there anything else?
So guys, I actually not for me, and I actually have to go now.
Yeah, sounds good. But thank you for taking the time, Sindre. And did this time work?
In 2 weeks, I hope. This time worked well, actually. In 2 weeks, I hope to be able to demonstrate the data layer stuff that can hopefully be released as like for people who want to deal with data in structured manner.
Let's try to do exact same time in 2 weeks from now. Great.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up. Thanks.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. And I'm looking forward to check out the documentation thing, Drafnar.
Yeah, I'll send you a message.
Perfect. Cool.
Thanks.
Okay.
Talk to you later, guys.
Talk to you later.
Thank
Bye.
you. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
You too. Bye.